Today, we're talking guitar pedals. So today I wanted to make a video to talk about some of my favorite guitar pedals that I like to use with synths, drum machines, samplers. I'm going to show you a variety of contextual examples here, including full tracks I've released, shorter tracks and jams that I've posted to social media, and some improvised jams that I'm going to use to kind of demo the pedals just for this video. I initially purchased all of the pedals on this list specifically for use with guitar, but as I started to kind of focus more on my solo project and get into synths, I began to implement them in that process and workflow as well. I don't have a permanent synth board setup that I use with my synths, but rather I tend to implement individual pedals on an as-needed basis if I want to get a specific texture on a certain synth part or create a certain atmosphere. It's definitely more of a grab-and-go kind of approach when I'm using effects with my synths, rather than my permanent pedal board setup that I have with my guitar. Just a heads up, there are a ton of resources out there for specifications on each of these pedals in detail, so I'm not going to get super granular on that front. That said, I hope you find some of these musical contextual examples entertaining. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope that they help you with brainstorming some different textures of your own when using effects with your synths. So we're going to jump right into it. Getting started with the Montreal Assembly, Count to 5. This one is an obvious choice to me for various reasons. It's a mainstay in a lot of folks' experimental music setups, and if you're not familiar with it, it's a compact delay and sampler that can store and recall audio in various buffers or layers. It's perhaps most well known for its very chirpy pitch-shifted delays that is kind of reminiscent of a choir of birds. This sort of style was arguably brought to the mainstream, or at least to the pedal niche world, by the YouTube channel Knobs Demos. I'll link to that video below. It's what introduced me to the pedal and my guitar pedal addiction. So the Count to 5 has 3 modes: a pitch-shifted delay, a random sampler, and a layered looper. It's both a melody and texture machine, and it really excels at creating immersive environments and soundscapes from relatively simple sound sources. I'll show you what I mean. Next up is the Mercury 7 reverb. This is my favorite reverb pedal of all time. That's saying a lot because reverb is my favorite effect. I fell in love with it when using it with my band and stupidly traded it for an Empress reverb, which is a great pedal. But I kind of thought that I wanted more options in a reverb, but I immediately ended up trading it back just a couple of weeks later for the Mercury 7 again. It's an incredibly deep but easy to operate modulated reverb pedal. that is inspired by the 1982 Blade Runner film soundtrack. Some of the more pertinent features include independent high and low dampening knobs, an auto swell switch, and stereo outputs. So one of the things that I like about it so much is the high and low dampening. It's really easy and intuitive to nestle the reverb signal into the perfect musical nook so that it just kind of sits well with everything else you might have going on in a mix. It enables it to be audible in the context of virtually any dry instrument signal you have. The modulation is also just absolutely insane. It has control of both depth and rate, and then it has another layer of modulation where you can add a chorus or a vibrato to the reverberated signal. Let's check it out. And next we have the Darkstar from Old Blood Noise Endeavors. The Darkstar is marketed by the company as being the atmosphere or the mood underneath the song, kind of what a song feels like or the mood you want to convey. I think that's a really accurate description, and it's really indicative of what the pedal is capable of. It has 3 separate modes: pitch, delay, and crush. The pitch mode provides you with 2 independently controllable pitch-shifted reverb signals. If it sounds crazy, it kind of is, and it sounds amazing. The delay mode adds a massively spacious delay control that can actually bring the pedal to self-oscillation, which is absolutely terrifying. And crush mode gives you the ability to control the bit rate of the reverb signal, giving you some kind of very creepy, ethereal, dark, gritty reverb sounds. Old Blood Noise Endeavors has a special place in my heart. The Black Fountain oil can delay was my first guitar pedal that I ever bought. After it was advertised to me on Instagram, they knew what they were doing. And that arguably started my fascination with pedals, effects, which brought me into synths and modular and producing my own electronic music. So maybe I would have arrived here on another path if I wasn't introduced to the company so early, but I definitely attribute the acceleration of my interest in this niche to that company. So let's take a look at the Darkstar. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that bit crush mode is just absolutely insane. So I do have an honorable mention for this list. It's a pedal that I had once and shamefully sold. And that is the Chase Bliss Audio Therme, which should be showing up somewhere in this general vicinity. So very simply put, this pedal is an analog delay / pitch shifter. It utilizes specific intervals to modulate delay time in order to create a very unique pitch shifting effect. You know how if you turn the time knob on an analog delay, it gives you that zippy sound if you change the delay time from a slow speed to a high speed? Well, it does that, but that zipping sound is tuned to specific intervals. It creates a very unique pitch shifting effect, and the timbre of the sound within the pedal is super unique as well. It sounds very gooey and drippy and wobbly, but in a cozy way. It's hard to explain, but you'll see what I mean soon. So I did own this pedal a couple of years ago. It was super hyped when it came out, and I caved and I bought it the day of its release, and I absolutely loved it. I spent about a day and a half learning it, experimenting, and creating guitar loops that I saved on my looper pedal. I ended up using it on some drum machines, actually a drum part from the OP-1 for a recording project with my band. But then I kind of found it a bit too difficult to implement in a live band context. So I ended up getting rid of it because I wasn't really producing much music with synths at that time. Eventually, as I was building up my modular synth, I went through a back catalog of saved guitar loops and was uploading them into the Make Noise Morphogene. I found a collection of loops that was from that weekend that I spent with the Therme when I first got it. I immediately realized that I had made a mistake in letting go of the Therme. In that moment, I had a realization of the Therme's power in the context of sound design. Let me demonstrate. So yeah, a super unique sounding, kind of gooey, warbly, pitch shifted delay effect. Well, I hope you learned something useful from this video. Let me know if you have any favorite pedals or effects that you like to use with synths or drum machines or samplers, and let me know if you have any overlap with this list or any fun experiences with the pedals that I've mentioned today. Definitely let me know down below in the comments. I really like chatting with you folks after these videos go up. I've had a lot of good discussions in the past few weeks since I've been uploading more regularly, and I'd love to continue hearing your thoughts, stories, and perspectives. Also, definitely let me know down in the comments if you made it this far into the video. I just think it's fun to see who might make it to the last few seconds of these videos. Anyways, this has been fun. Thanks for hanging today. I'll see you guys next time.